Ever wondered how being single for a long time can change you? Whether by choice or circumstance, going years without a romantic relationship affects people in ways they may not even realize. Some of these changes are empowering, helping you grow stronger and more independent. But others, they can make it harder to connect with someone new, even when the opportunity arises. In this video, we're going to explore 5 key ways that long-term singlehood reshapes you mentally, emotionally, and socially. From how you handle independence to how you approach relationships, these shifts happen gradually, often without you noticing. But once you understand them, you can decide what's working in your favor and what might be holding you back. And be sure to stay until the very end, because some of these changes might surprise you. More importantly, we'll discuss what you can do to embrace the positive aspects while overcoming the ones that might be limiting your ability to form deep connections. Whether you're content with being single or considering opening up to love again, this video is for you. Now let's get started. Number 1, become more independent. The longer you've been without a relationship, the more self-sufficient you become. You get used to making decisions on your own, structuring your life exactly the way you want, and handling challenges without leaning on a partner for emotional or practical support. And in many ways, this is a good thing. Independence gives you strength, confidence, and the ability to stand on your own 2 feet, without relying on someone else to complete you. But there's another side to it, one that can make relationships harder when they do come along. Think about it. When you're used to living life entirely on your own terms, bringing someone else into the picture can feel like an adjustment, even an inconvenience. You have your own routines, your own habits, your own way of doing things. There's nobody to check in with, nobody to consult when making plans, nobody to compromise with when deciding how to spend your day. And over time, that can create a mindset where relationships feel more like an obligation than a partnership. This isn't to say independence is a bad thing. In fact, it's one of the most attractive qualities a person can have. But there's a difference between being independent and being so set in your ways that you can't make space for another person. Relationships require a certain level of flexibility, a willingness to adjust, to accommodate, to compromise. If you've been single for years, you might not even realize how much you've gotten. Here's to not having to do that. Imagine 2 people in their 60s who've both been single for a long time. One still remains open to companionship, willing to adjust aspects of their life to welcome someone in. The other has become so accustomed to their routines that the idea of sharing space, time, or decisions with someone else feels frustrating. Which one do you think would find it easier to build a connection? If the right person came along, the good news, if you recognize this in yourself, it's not something that has to hold you back. Being independent doesn't mean being closed off. It means you have the ability to choose what's right for you. But if part of you still wants companionship, it's important to remember that relationships thrive on give and take. Maintaining your independence while still allowing space for someone else is the key to finding balance. And when you find that balance, you don't lose yourself in a relationship. You simply grow alongside it. Number 2, struggle more with emotional vulnerability. The longer you go without a romantic relationship, the harder it can become to open up emotionally. When you're single for years, you get used to handling things on your own. Your thoughts, your emotions, your struggles. You don't have someone regularly asking how you're feeling, checking in on your day, or providing that deep level of emotional support that relationships often bring. And over time, you may start to build walls without even realizing it. Emotional vulnerability is a skill, and like any skill, it requires practice. In a relationship, you naturally learn to express your feelings, to share your worries, to lean on someone when things get difficult. But when you've been alone for a long time, that muscle weakens. You might find it uncomfortable to let someone see the softer, more unguarded side of you. You might hesitate to admit when you need help, or struggle to say things like "I miss you" or "I need you." And in some cases, you might even convince yourself that you don't need that kind of connection at all. But the truth is, no matter how independent you are, deep down, everyone craves emotional intimacy. The challenge is that when you've been alone for a long time, letting someone in can feel foreign, almost unnatural. And if you're not careful, that hesitation can make it harder for relationships to develop, even when you meet someone who could be a great match. Imagine 2 people, both single for years. One is open to connection, willing to share their thoughts and feelings, even if it feels a little uncomfortable at first. The other has grown so accustomed to keeping everything to themselves that they struggle to express even the simplest emotions. Which one do you think will have an easier time forming a meaningful relationship. This isn't about forcing yourself to be emotionally open with just anyone. It's about recognizing that if you want deeper connections, you have to be willing to take emotional risks. Being vulnerable isn't a weakness. It's what allows people to truly know you, to understand you, to connect with you on a level that goes beyond casual conversation. And the more you practice, the easier it becomes. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 3, develop stronger personal routines and habits. When you've been single for a long time, you naturally build a life that revolves entirely around your own preferences, routines, and habits. And while there's a certain freedom in that, it can also make it harder to integrate someone else into your world. The longer you've lived without having to adjust for a partner, the more set in your ways you become, and that can create challenges when a relationship opportunity arises. Think about it. When you're in a relationship, there's a natural give and take. You compromise on plans, adjust routines to fit another person's needs, and learn to create a shared lifestyle. But when you've been alone for years, you don't have to think about anyone else's schedule. You eat what you want, sleep when you want, watch what you want on TV, and structure your day exactly how you like it. Over time, this can make you less flexible, even if you don't realize it. This is especially noticeable when it comes to daily habits. You get used to certain ways of doing things, how you organize your home, what time you wake up, how you spend your evenings. And the idea of someone coming in and changing any of that, it can feel disruptive. Some people even begin to view relationships as more of a sacrifice than a gain, simply because they don't want to alter the life they've built for themselves. Now, this doesn't mean you should abandon your routines or change who you are. In fact, having a strong sense of self is one of the best things about being single for a long time. But relationships require a certain level of adaptability. If you're unwilling to adjust even slightly, it can create distance before a connection has the chance to grow. Imagine 2 people, both single for years. One has built strong personal routines, but remains open to adjusting if the right person comes along. The other is so set in their ways that even small compromises feel like a burden. Which one do you think will have an easier time maintaining a relationship? The key is balance, keeping the structure you enjoy, while also allowing room for someone else when the time is right. Because at the end of the day, the habits you've built over the years should enhance your life, not create barriers that keep people out. And when you can find that balance, you don't lose your independence, you just make space for something more. Number 4, raise your standards sometimes too high. The longer you've been single, the more selective you become about who you're willing to let into your life. And in many ways, this is a good thing. When you've spent years on your own, you learn exactly what you want, what you don't want, and what you're not willing to tolerate in a relationship. You've had time to reflect on past experiences, to understand your personal boundaries, and to develop a stronger sense of what truly matters to you. But there's a flip side sometimes. Those standards can become so high that they start keeping people out. Instead of letting the right one in, think about it. When you're young, relationships often come with a sense of discovery. You're more open to exploring connections, learning from each other, and figuring things out along the way. But when you've been single for a long time, you might expect someone to fit perfectly into your life right from the start. You might become less patient with flaws, less willing to navigate differences, and more likely to dismiss someone over small imperfections. Over time, this can lead to a cycle where nobody ever seems good enough. And it's not just about expectations for a partner, it's also about expectations for love itself. If you've been single for years, you might have built up an idealized version of what a relationship should look like. Maybe you expect the perfect emotional connection, effortless communication, or the kind of chemistry that feels straight out of a movie. But real relationships take work. They require patience, compromise, and a willingness to embrace someone's imperfections, just as you'd want them to embrace yours. Now, raising your standards isn't a bad thing. In fact, knowing your worth and refusing to settle for the wrong person is one of the best things about spending time alone. But the key is recognizing the difference between having high standards and having unrealistic ones. If your list of requirements is so rigid that no one could possibly meet them, you might be unconsciously closing yourself off to potential connections. Imagine 2 people, both single for years. One has clear standards but understands that relationships involve growth and compromise. The other is constantly searching for someone who checks every box, never giving anyone a real chance. Which one do you think is more likely to find a meaningful connection? The truth is, relationships aren't about finding someone perfect. They're about finding someone whose imperfections you can accept and whose presence makes your life better. If you've been single for a long time and struggle to find a good match, it might be worth asking yourself, am I looking for a real connection, or am I chasing an ideal that doesn't exist? Because sometimes the right person isn't the one who meets every expectation, it's the one who brings something real, something lasting, and something that reminds you why love is worth the risk. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 5, feel less pressure to be in a relationship. As time goes on, you may find that the urgency to be in a relationship begins to fade. When you've been single for a long time, you learn how to be content on your own. You fill your life with routines, hobbies, friendships, and personal goals, and in many ways that can be incredibly fulfilling. Unlike when you were younger, when there was social pressure to pair up, settle down, and follow the traditional relationship path, you start to realize that you don't need a romantic partner to live a happy, meaningful life. And while that's a sign of personal growth, it can also create a mindset where you become indifferent to relationships altogether. Over time, this shift in perspective can make it harder to step back into the dating world. When you're used to your independence, the idea of adding someone into your life might feel unnecessary, even disruptive. You may start thinking, why go through the effort of dating when I'm perfectly fine on my own? And in some cases, that feeling of comfort can turn into avoidance. You might convince yourself that relationships aren't worth the trouble, not because you truly don't want one, but because the idea of change feels overwhelming. This doesn't mean that choosing to remain single is a bad thing. If you genuinely prefer it and feel at peace with that choice, then there's nothing wrong with embracing it. But if you still find yourself wanting companionship, yet avoiding opportunities to connect, it may be worth asking yourself if you've built emotional walls without realizing it. Imagine two people, both single for many years. One has accepted their independence, but remains open to the possibility of love if the right person comes along. The other has become so comfortable in their solitude that they no longer put in any effort to meet people, even when they secretly crave connection. Which one do you think has a better chance of experiencing companionship when the opportunity arises? The key is recognizing the difference between genuine contentment and passive avoidance. Being comfortable alone is a strength, but letting that comfort turn into isolation can be a missed opportunity. If you've been single for a long time, take a moment to ask yourself, am I truly happy this way? Or have I simply convinced myself that I am because it's easier than taking a risk? Because the truth is, relationships aren't about filling a void. They're about enhancing the life you've already built. And if you keep your heart open, you never know what incredible connections might still be ahead of you. Final thoughts. As we wrap up this video, take a moment to reflect on these 5 changes. Do any of them sound familiar? If you've been single for a long time, you've probably experienced at least some of these shifts. And while many of them can be positive, helping you grow stronger, wiser, and more self-sufficient, it's also important to recognize when they might be holding you back. Being single is not a flaw, and it's not something that needs to be fixed. In fact, some of the happiest people are those who have learned how to enjoy their own company. But if deep down you still desire companionship, it's worth asking yourself, have I unconsciously built walls that keep people out? Have I become so set in my ways that I no longer make space for someone else? Have I let past experiences or high expectations stop me from giving new connections a real chance? The good news is, it's never too late to make small changes that open the door to love and connection. Whether it's staying flexible, practicing emotional vulnerability, or simply being willing to step outside your comfort zone, every effort you make brings you closer to the kind of relationship you want, if you want one at all. And the best part? None of these changes require you to lose yourself. The right relationship will never take away your independence. It will simply add to the life you've already built. So if you've been single for years and wondering why love hasn't found you yet, remember this. It's not about whether or not you're still relationship material. It's about whether you're still open to the possibility of connection, growth, and companionship. And when you are, love has a way of finding you, even when you least expect it. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Get older, we start to realize that the most valuable things in life aren't the ones we can buy. They aren't found in bank accounts, luxury cars, or big houses. Instead, the greatest treasures of old age are the ones that bring deep joy, peace, and fulfillment, things that no amount of money can replace. But how many of these treasures do you truly have? In this video, we're going to uncover 5 of the most precious treasures in old age, the things that matter most when everything else fades away. These treasures are what make life rich, meaningful, and deeply satisfying. And those who recognize their value early on are the ones who truly enjoy their later years. Whether you're already embracing these gifts or realizing there's still time to cultivate them, this video will help you see what truly matters. Stay with me until the end, because the more of these treasures you hold on to, the happier and more fulfilled your life will be. And if you're missing any of them, don't worry. It's never too late to start building a life full of health, love, wisdom, peace, and legacy. Now let's get started. Number 1, health and mobility. One of the greatest treasures in old age is something many people take for granted until it begins to fade. Good health and the ability to move freely. It's not just about living longer. It's about being able to enjoy life without constant pain or limitations. When your body allows you to walk, stretch, stand up without discomfort, and go about your day without struggle, you hold on to one of the most valuable gifts of aging. Doctors and researchers all agree, staying active is the key to preserving mobility. Movement keeps joints lubricated, muscles strong, and circulation flowing. But many people slow down in retirement, thinking they should take it easy. The truth is, the less you move, the harder it becomes to stay mobile. That's why those who prioritize exercise, even in simple ways like walking, stretching, or swimming, often find themselves healthier and more independent for much longer. That's exactly what happened to Roger, a 78-year-old man who spent his career working in an office. After retiring, he fell into a routine of watching TV, sitting for hours and avoiding exercise because he thought rest was more important. But as time passed, he found himself struggling to get up from chairs. His knees ached constantly, and walking even short distances became tiring. It wasn't until he started a simple habit of daily morning walks and light stretching that he noticed a difference. Within months, he felt more energetic, his joints hurt less, and he regained confidence in his body's ability to move. Good health isn't just about exercise. It's also about what you put into your body. Eating nutrient-rich foods, staying hydrated, and maintaining a balanced diet help keep inflammation down and energy levels up. Many retirees who struggle with mobility don't realize how much their diet affects their joints, muscles, and overall vitality. Foods high in sugar and processed ingredients can make aches and pains worse, while fresh, whole foods provide the nutrients. The body needs to function at its best. Sleep is another major factor. Many older adults underestimate the power of rest and recovery. Quality sleep helps the body repair itself, strengthens the immune system, and keeps the mind sharp. Poor sleep, on the other hand, can lead to fatigue, reduced coordination, and even higher risks of injury. Developing healthy sleep habits, like keeping a regular bedtime and avoiding screens before bed, can make a world of difference in how the body feels each day. But perhaps the most overlooked part of staying healthy in old age is listening to your body. Many people ignore small warning signs: stiffness in the morning, shortness of breath, or frequent fatigue until they become bigger problems. Regular checkups, staying proactive about health concerns, and making small adjustments before issues escalate can help prevent unnecessary suffering. Those who prioritize prevention over reaction often find themselves enjoying more freedom and mobility for years to come. The ability to wake up and move without pain is one of life's greatest treasures. It's what allows you to travel, visit family, enjoy hobbies, and live independently. The more you care for your body now, the more it will support you in the years to come. Health isn't just about adding years to your life. It's about adding life to your years. Number 2, deep relationships. One of the most valuable treasures in old age isn't something you can hold in your hands. It's the people who stand by your side. The relationships you build over a lifetime, the love you share with family and friends, and the deep connections you nurture all become more precious than anything money can buy. As the years go by, it's not the things we own that bring us comfort. It's the people who truly know us, who care about us, and who make life feel meaningful. Yet too many people take relationships for granted, assuming they will always be there. But time moves quickly, and if we don't actively maintain these bonds, they can slowly fade away. Many retirees find themselves feeling lonelier than expected, realizing too late that they didn't put enough effort into keeping close connections strong. The truth is, friendships and family ties require attention, just like anything else in life. They need nurturing, communication, and presence, not just in big moments, but in the small, everyday interactions that truly strengthen relationships. That's exactly what happened to George, a 75-year-old man who spent most of his career focused on work. He always planned to spend more time with family once he retired, but by the time he finally slowed down, he realized he had grown distant from his children and old friends. Calls became less frequent, and gatherings felt less natural. He found himself regretting the years he let slip by. But instead of staying stuck in that regret, he made a decision to start reaching out. He began calling his kids regularly, setting up small get-togethers with old friends, and even joining a community group. Over time, his relationships grew stronger, and he found that the effort was worth more than anything he had once prioritized over them. Having people to laugh with, share memories with, and lean on during difficult times is what gives life its richness. It's not just about having people around. It's about having real, meaningful connections. These relationships don't just make life more enjoyable, they also contribute to better health. Studies show that seniors with strong social ties tend to live longer, stay mentally sharper, and experience lower levels of stress and depression. Human connection is a necessity, not just a luxury. Maintaining deep relationships doesn't have to be complicated. It starts with simple acts, picking up the phone, sending a message, making time for face-to-face conversations. Sometimes relationships require forgiveness, letting go of old grudges, or making the first move, even when it feels uncomfortable. But those who actively invest in their relationships often find that the rewards far outweigh the effort. As we age, the value of relationships only increases. The happiest retirees are the ones who recognize that people, not possessions, are what truly make life rich. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 3, a clear mind and lifelong learning. One of the greatest treasures in old age is the ability to think clearly, stay curious, and continue learning. The mind is like a muscle. It needs to be challenged, exercised, and engaged to stay strong. Many people believe that growing older naturally leads to mental decline, but in reality, it's inactivity that weakens the brain. Those who continue to learn, explore new ideas, and challenge themselves often stay sharp, confident, and mentally strong well into their later years. For many retirees, work provided constant mental stimulation, solving problems, making decisions, learning new skills, and engaging with different people. But when retirement begins, that daily challenge disappears. Without something to actively engage the brain, it's easy to slip into routines that don't require much thought, leading to slower thinking, memory lapses, and even feelings of disconnection from the world. The good news? Just like physical exercise strengthens the body, mental exercise strengthens the brain. That's exactly what happened to Margaret, a 72-year-old woman who had always been a quick thinker. She assumed retirement would be relaxing, but after a few years of watching TV, doing crossword puzzles, and repeating the same routines, she noticed her memory wasn't as sharp. She struggled to recall names, conversations felt harder to follow, and she often forgot small details. Instead of accepting this as just part of aging, she decided to challenge her brain again. She started learning Spanish, took up painting, and joined a discussion group where she debated current events. Within months, she felt sharper, more confident, and more engaged with the world around her. Doctors and researchers agree, lifelong learning is one of the best ways to keep the mind strong. Reading books, engaging in deep conversations, solving puzzles, or even picking up a new skill keeps the brain active and helps prevent cognitive decline. The happiest retirees are often those who never stop learning, whether it's through travel, new hobbies, or simply staying curious about the world. Social engagement is also key. Conversations, debates, and intellectual discussions keep the mind flexible. Those who regularly interact with others, share ideas, and challenge their own thinking often stay mentally sharp for much longer. But those who withdraw from social and intellectual engagement tend to feel their world shrinking, both mentally and emotionally. One of the simplest ways to protect brain health is to make learning a daily habit. This doesn't mean going back to school. It means staying curious, embracing challenges, and seeking out new experiences. It could be as simple as trying a new recipe, watching a documentary, playing an instrument, or even discussing a new topic with friends. The more the mind is challenged, the stronger it becomes. A sharp, engaged mind is one of life's most precious treasures. It gives you confidence, independence, and the ability to stay connected to the world around you. And the best part, it's never too late to start strengthening it. Number 4, emotional peace and gratitude. One of the most overlooked but powerful treasures in old age is emotional peace. Many people spend their younger years chasing success, wealth, or approval, only to realize later that none of those things guarantee happiness. True contentment comes from within, from letting go of past regrets, finding joy in the present, and appreciating what life has given rather than focusing on what's missing. Those who embrace this mindset experience greater happiness, less stress, and a deeper sense of fulfillment in their later years. Yet for many retirees, emotional peace doesn't come easily. Some carry regret over things they wish they had done differently. Others hold on to resentment from past conflicts or disappointments. And many struggle with worry about their health, finances, or the future. Left unchecked, these emotions can weigh heavily, making it difficult to enjoy life's simple pleasures. But the happiest retirees aren't the ones with perfect lives. They're the ones who learn how to let go, forgive, and focus on gratitude. That's exactly what happened to Eleanor, a 79-year-old woman who spent much of her life feeling bitter about past mistakes. She had regrets about career choices, lost friendships, and things she wished she had done differently. For years, these thoughts followed her, making it hard to fully enjoy the present. But one day she made a conscious decision. Instead of focusing on what went wrong, she would focus on what was right. She started writing down 3 things she was grateful for each morning, reconnecting with people she once lost touch with, and letting go of old anger that no longer served her. Slowly, she found herself smiling more, feeling lighter, and enjoying each day in a way she never had before. Studies have shown that practicing gratitude can actually rewire the brain to focus more on positive emotions. Those who actively appreciate what they have, instead of dwelling on what they lack, experience lower levels of stress, improved mental health, and even better physical well-being. The simple act of reflecting on the good in life, whether it's good health, loving relationships, or even the beauty of a quiet morning, has the power to transform one's entire outlook. Forgiveness is another key to emotional peace. Holding on to anger, resentment, or grudges only hurts the person carrying them. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting or excusing the past. It means choosing not to let it control your present. Those who release emotional burdens often find that they feel lighter, freer, and more at peace with themselves and others. The happiest retirees understand that true wealth isn't in possessions, it's in peace of mind. They recognize that every day is a gift, and they make a conscious effort to find joy in the little things. Whether it's laughing with a friend, watching the sunset, or simply taking a deep breath and appreciating life, these small moments add up to a life well lived. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 5, a legacy of meaning. As we move through life, we start to realize that the most lasting treasure isn't what we own, it's what we leave behind. A true legacy isn't measured in wealth or possessions, but in the impact we have on others. It's the wisdom we share, the kindness we show, the relationships we nurture, and the values we pass on to future generations. Those who focus on building a meaningful legacy often find that their later years are not just fulfilling, but deeply rewarding. Many retirees spend their lives working hard, raising families, and accumulating experiences. Yet as they grow older, they begin to ask themselves, what will I be remembered for? Some look back and realize they wish they had shared more of their knowledge, helped more people, or contributed more to their communities. The good news is, it's never too late to shape your legacy. In fact, some of the most meaningful contributions happen later in life, when wisdom and experience are at their peak. That's exactly what happened to Walter, an 81-year-old man who spent most of his life focused on his career. In retirement, he realized that while he had built financial security, he hadn't built much connection with the people around him. Instead of dwelling on regret, he decided to do something about it. He started mentoring young professionals in his field, sharing the lessons he had learned over the years. He wrote down stories from his life to pass on to his grandchildren. He found small ways to help his neighbors and contribute to his community. Over time, he discovered that his greatest joy wasn't in what he had achieved, but in what he could give to others. Leaving a legacy doesn't mean you have to do something grand. It's about small, meaningful actions that leave a lasting impression. It could be teaching a grandchild an important lesson, volunteering for a cause you care about, or simply being a source of kindness and encouragement to those around you. Even sharing life advice, documenting family history, or expressing appreciation for the people in your life can make a lasting impact. One of the most powerful ways to shape a legacy is to be intentional about how you spend your time. Those who make an effort to inspire, teach, and lift others up often find that their later years are the most meaningful of all. They realize that life isn't just about what we take, it's about what we give. A meaningful legacy is one of the most precious treasures of old age. It ensures that even after we're gone, our influence lives on, in the lessons we taught, the kindness we showed, and the love we gave. And the best part? It's never too late to start building a legacy that truly matters. Final thoughts. As we reach the later years of life, it becomes clear that the most valuable treasures are not the ones we can buy, but the ones we cultivate over time. Good health, meaningful relationships, a sharp mind, emotional peace, and a lasting legacy. These are the things that truly make life rich. While material possessions may fade, these treasures remain, shaping the way we experience every moment and leaving an impact that extends beyond our own lifetime. Take a moment to reflect. How many of these treasures do you already have? Which ones are you still working toward? The good news is it's never too late to protect your health, strengthen relationships, keep learning, find peace, and build a legacy that matters. No matter your age or circumstances, every small step you take toward these treasures makes your life more fulfilling and meaningful. If today's video has reminded you of something important, take action. Call an old friend, go for a walk, learn something new, or take a moment to appreciate what you already have. Life is meant to be lived fully, and the more we embrace these treasures, the richer our years become. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.